Hello, Internet. This is Jonathan Knoll, and I'm here with ToasterManXD, and this is Gamehaven.
Hello there, Internet.
Well, I have known ToasterManXD since we were in the 7th grade.
That's so long ago.
Yep. And at first I didn't really know him for his gaming. I knew him through acting. Anything you'd like to say on that?
Well, I know John and I, we met at a lunch table. And we were at the back of the lunch table. Everyone was talking, so we'd talk about like different nerdy things. I would always compliment him on his drawings. And we got into an intro to theater class.
Yeah, it was
Willy Wonka. It was
Willy Wonka Jr.
Yeah, and then after that, like, our relationship grew, and then through 8th grade, it kept on growing, and then when we got into high school, me and him joined
the drama club and all of that.
Yeah, and we did that for the entire 4 years.
Yep.
And yeah, that's a good way to put it.
But ToasterManXD here is in fact a gamer, unabashedly so. So, do you have any news lately about your games?
Well, I know I'm playing, doing a playthrough of Doom 3. I know they're a little longer, like 20 minutes. I'm gonna try to shrink that for you guys, do some more cuts here and there. I'm only working on Windows Movie Maker, and I'm trying to get some better software.
A quick thing about Doom is you can skip the cutscenes.
Yeah, it's also my first time playing through it, and I like immersing myself into the storyline, and I hope it's doing the same thing with my viewers.
Fair enough.
And then, on top of that, I know I had to abandon a playthrough that I was working on because I didn't want 2 playthroughs going on at the same time.
What was the other playthrough?
It was a game called Shadow Warrior. It's a 2013-2014 game. It's extremely violent, extremely gory, so...
Okay.
I knew I was going to have some problems there. I actually put a warning in the beginning of it because you can, just do some
pretty messed up stuff.
Yeah, and it's a game making fun of action games, so there's comedy already within it.
Okay.
So I'd recommend that anyone plays it on Steam, but maybe in later life I'll probably pick it back up.
Okay. So the overall goal of this podcast is to let your viewers know who you are, basically. And really in conjunction with your whole gaming career here, where do you begin?
I began very, very early in my life. I was, 3 or 4 years old when I first picked up a NES, like a Super Nintendo.
Alright.
And I used to play like Mario all the time and Donkey Kong. And it even got to the point where my brother, we were playing Space Invaders one day. And my brother wanted to be first player, and he basically said, I'm the oldest, so I get first player, and I didn't argue it. And that simple thing has been embedded into our lives so much, because like he has everything that's blue, and I have everything that's red, and player 1's color is blue, and player 2's color is red, so almost unconsciously we kind of got that spectrum down, and ever since it's always been, he's number 1, I'm number 2, and it's been growing. And then after that I got a PS1 and GameCube. As I got older, I got newer systems. And I didn't really start to wanting to make videos until I watched a YouTuber named ZibHD. He does League of Legends stuff.
Would you say that one more time, the YouTuber name?
Yeah, ZibHD.
ZibHD, okay.
Yeah, he does... he did League of Legends guides, which League of Legends is an online battle arena game. Very, very, very popular. And he...
Right.
I started viewing them and started watching these guides, and they were just hilarious. And then, of course, I got into PewDiePie.
Right. Who doesn't?
Yeah. 1/6 of the world's population is subscribed to him.
Right.
Then I can say my biggest inspiration was a YouTuber named Markiplier. And he's not as... 4 million subscribers is a lot.
Right.
And I really started picked up on him when he did... I knew him a little bit, and then I watched his Five Nights at Freddy's playthrough.
Oh, Five Nights at Freddy's.
I'm eventually gonna get to it. But he did such an amazing job at that. He got so many viewers, and that he got me hooked. So when I finished that, I basically went through some of his old videos and just got hooked.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been watching his videos ever since. And he's probably my favorite feature about him. And I'm trying to do the same thing. Is he's humble.
Okay.
You gotta watch his Draw My Life to really understand, because he's been through some crazy stuff.
All right.
Like I was watching it, and at the time I was like, yeah, PewDiePie,
Mm-hmm.
And then watching that, I gained so much respect for him as a person, and knowing he kind of flipped his life at 180. It's huge inspiration.
Right. So from there, we good. I'm tap dancing. So, first of all, what are some of your favorite games?
Oh, of course, I gotta say I like the Halo series. All that.
I've never played the Halo series.
Looks like we have a task to do.
Oh, good.
I can say there's a game that's without a doubt one of my favorites, and not a lot of people know it. It's
okay.
A game called Rogue Trooper. It's based off a British comic.
Huh.
And it's about a genetically created soldier that's blue, and they have a chip at the back of their neck, so when they die...
I remember you telling me about this one of the first times I ever talked to you.
Yeah, when the soldier dies, the chip's still alive.
Mm-hmm.
So they take out the chip, and they've got 3 places they can put it, the gun, the helmet, or the backpack. And through, the first 2 levels, the main character's 3 best friends die. And,
So then they basically assimilate experience and...
Yeah, and it's they become his equipment.
Okay.
So, his gunner, his point man becomes his gun, his technician becomes his helmet, and, the supplies guy becomes his backpack. And throughout the entire game, you're hearing these different voices, and they're your equipment and your friends, and they're all centered around the main character, which is, the focal point.
Huh.
And it's just, there's a huge war, and it's so much in the future, because it's Pangea.
Oh.
Pangea is reformed.
Interesting.
And apparently it's toxic, and that's why they make the genetically created soldiers, so they can breathe in this toxic air.
So about Doom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Doom.
Now, I have to take some pride in the fact that I introduced Dan here to Doom.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And sorry, Toastmasters.
That's okay. I don't care.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah. We'll just say Dan. Anyway, so I introduced him to Doom mainly because my grandfather gave my brother and I this old Tandy computer that had both Dooms 1 and 2 on it, and Alec and my brother and I fell in love with the games. So then from there we had to get other people interested in it, and we found out that PewDiePie had done playthroughs and all of that, so there was already a running for Doom. But for me, just the fact that I could get one of my friends to play it is kind of a big deal for me.
Yeah, and the game is really good. At times I'm focused on trying to get through it, and dealing with the enemies in the front, and in my recent video, I had a huge jump scare, and I was in sheer panic, and then I got lost for 15 minutes.
That's happened to me too. But yeah, so would you believe it that Doom was not originally a critical success?
Really?
Yeah. It was criticized for its easy jump scares and its almost cliched horror effects.
Okay, well they really turned that around.
Well, again, I think it more as a cult game, really.
That's a good way to put it.
Basically, the first two games were huge commercial successes, just smash hits.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd really like you to play them at some point.
Oh yeah, probably when I'm done with Doom.
Doom 3?
I'll do it backwards, which is not the way I want to do it, but...
Hey, it gives you originality.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so the first two were smash successes. They're really why the first-person shooter game flourishes.
Yeah.
And then the third one comes out, and everybody seems disappointed. But then it just keeps coming back.
I'm not disappointed with it.
I wasn't disappointed either. Again, though, I'm also kind of a fan of everything.
Yeah.
If you listen to my other podcast, Late Night Taco Delivery, with my other friend Dan, then you'll know quite a bit about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I know, yeah. I don't know, I just went blank there. But, so you take it away real quick.
Okay. There's actually a new podcast out there called Illusionoid. Yes, I'm giving these guys a bit of a shout out. They're really awesome. And basically their entire thing is that they improv a story podcast.
That's fun.
So at some point, I wouldn't mind talking you into doing something like that with a couple of our friends.
Yeah. I know a video I did, his name's Shaggy Dude. I played a silhouette with him. Mm-hmm. That's the highest video too.
Awesome. So look out for, what was it again?
Shaggy Dude.
Shaggy Dude, yeah.
He needs to get he needs to get a better computer, and he needs to get his supplies up and going. But he will definitely show up more in my videos.
Okay. So do you have any news at large before we end off the podcast here?
Right now, I'm in the process of trying to find picture-in-picture, which is the editing software. Well, not really editing software. It's where you see my face.
So it's a simulcast type situation.
Yeah. I don't. Being very new, Windows Movie Maker does not have.
Oh yeah, Windows Movie Maker is
basic.
Yeah.
It is like.
It's what I made the first few Gamsey Splains episodes on.
Yeah, and it's good for starting out. Like, if you master it, you can do some, interesting things with it. Like some of the editing I've done, I'm kind of proud of. Like a lot of the captions and whatnot.
Right.
But I'm in the process right now trying to get some better software, so I can give you guys that better experience. Because I feel like, especially when I'm playing horror games, I want you guys to see my reaction.
Because from what I'm listening to, your reactions are pretty funny, actually.
Yeah, and I know in my first game, which was Color Symphony, I'm planning to get back to that, but there's a recording difficulty, and I need to replay the first couple levels. But I censored that because I thought my path was going to be
right,
something else. And then I looked, I was thinking about it, and I was like, to get a full effect, you need uncensored material, just due to the fact that, well, you're playing specific games that are not supposed to be for audience. Like Doom 3, I don't want to see like a 3-year-old watching it. Like, I try to make it as clean as I can, but when I get scared,
Yeah.
I get scared.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, hopefully when I'm done with Doom, I want to do South Park: The Stick of Truth.
All right.
And I want to do a lot of one-off games that, try to get as much as I can with that, and do highlights of, not Happy Wheels, but highlights of a game called Splunky. And I want to do the original version first before I even think about doing the newer version.
All right.
Just so, because playing Splunky a little bit, there's some surprises there.
Okay.
And a lot of ability to, mess around.
All right. Well, that, I think, cinches it up for Gamehaven this week. I'm Jonathan Knoll.
And I'm ToasterManXD.
Woo! And stay tuned, Internet. Stay tuned.